Welcome to NAIFA's Advisor Today podcast series, where we focus on how financial advisors work, live, and give to their local communities and our greater financial services industry. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hi, everyone. This is Chris Gandy. I'm here with the wonderful Suzanne Carawan. And we're here as a part of NAIFA and the host of Advisor Today podcast, where we get an opportunity to interview, get to know, and have intimate conversations with some of the brightest and best in the insurance and financial services industry. I'm your host, Chris Gandy, a loyal 23-year member of NAIFA, and our wonderful, intelligent and marketing professional guru of NAIFA, Suzanne Carawan. Suzanne, share a little bit about our guest today and who's the sponsor for today.
So hello, everybody. Great to see everybody again today. We're delighted today to have Brian Haney from the Haney Company. And so this episode is actually sponsored by the Haney Company. They are our newest 100% agency, which means that everybody that works at the Haney Company is a NAIFA member. And they actually, they push that, they endorse that, they promote that. And so we'll get into that a little bit later too. But I also want to introduce then the founder of the Haney Company, Brian Haney. And Brian is the man that has more designations after his name that literally he broke our website template. We can't fit the designations on. So he is our newest. Also, if you saw the announcement yesterday, he is our trustee nomination, one of our trustee nominations for the 2023 National Trustee Board. And Brian got to that illustrious opportunity, which hopefully we'll talk about a little bit more in this episode. But he got that for so much years of service to NAIFA, inclusive of just some of the couple of things he's done in NAIFA. And this is at the national level, not even to mention what he's done at the Greater Washington level. But he's been, National Yacht Leader of the Year. He's the reigning Yacht Leader of the Year, as a matter of fact. He's been the diversity champion, a former diversity champion. He's won utmost number of awards, et cetera. And so we want to talk about all of that today. And he's been a big driver in our Young Advisor, what I just said, YAT program. So we want to talk about those things today. And so, Brian, it's great to have you. Thanks for joining us.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm excited to be here and look forward to our conversation.
Brian, let's kick it off. This podcast, we're gonna go from 10,000 feet down to about 100. So let's jump right into it. Fair?
That sounds great.
Perfect. Let's talk a little bit about associations. Obviously, you're a NAIFA member, and Suzanne just mentioned that your commitment to the association and people that follow you leading by example. Can you talk about your relationship with associations and what is it that you're doing in the alignment when you align with an association and why?
No, absolutely. And, I'll take a little bit longer than you might expect to answer this because the context matters. So our company, the Haney Company, the market that is our largest niche is the association marketplace. So over 85% of our business and our clients are associations. So organizations just like NAIFA. So I have this unique perspective, I think, as well as a long history of being a part of the association community. And so it certainly encourages being a member at NAIFA or any kind of professional association because you see the power of associations. And we get to see it on a daily basis working with them. And so the question usually is why join something? Why become a part of anything? Why pay a membership fee? And I think as could not be more true for me, for NAIFA, it's about finding your tribe. And that's certainly be the way I would describe all of the time I've spent at NAIFA. But, in any profession and certainly the financial services industry, what we do can be a little bit lonely, but can also be a little bit intense and competitive. And so sometimes, it's hard to cut through all of that and find a place where you can find fellowship, camaraderie, friendship, support, and people that are willing to collaborate with you and help you, not necessarily maybe always view you as, somebody that's competing or we're going after the same stuff, so we're not on the same side of the table. And that's really what, the power of an association is about for us as members. But then associations themselves do so much for the fabric of America, more than I think we realize. And so, if you want to be a part of something that's greater than yourself and you want to find your tribe, then I think that's kind of the real reasons to be at NAIFA and to stay at NAIFA.
So you're like, how many associations are you an actual member of?
I think me personally, at least a half dozen.
Yeah, I think so.
And counting. In our collective team, there's probably a dozen. So
can you just rattle off some of them?
So ASA, American Society of Association Executives, where I also, like Evan Mayu and many other in the association space, have the designation CAE, Certified Association Executive. Obviously, NAIFA, we are members of the Big I, CPCU, Million Dollar Roundtable. Gosh, I feel like I'm missing a few. NAFA, NAILBA, Society of Financial Services Professionals. Goodness gracious, I gotta pull the list out.
So what do you say to the people that say, hey, I should only be or can be a part of one association? How are you able to handle all that?
Yeah, I think it requires a lot of intentionality. And I think, handling anyone's time is very much a function of value, of intent, and I think of the commitments that you think you want to make for yourself, as well as the commitments that you're making to the organizations you're going to be a part of. And so, we firmly believe as a practice that works with associations that, we believe in the power of associations. That fuels us. I think we're a bit of an outlier. So, I don't know that I would recommend to the average financial industry professional that you try to join 6, 7, or 8 different organizations, unless, again, you had the capacity, the bandwidth, and you felt that there was mutual value that you could bring and you could get out of those types of relationships. But I think I absolutely would say don't limit yourself to just one, because there are some great, there are so many great associations that serve our industry, and each has a value to you and a value that it has in the marketplace. And so the more we as professionals participate collectively together, the better our industry gets. And that's, I think, the biggest message I hope people can take away from that is that, it matters where you're a member, and it matters what you do with that membership as much as what that membership does for you.
I like the way you put that, Brian. It's not necessarily just the membership itself and not just necessarily the relationship, but also the value you get out of it. So not just joining an association to see, hey, what can I get out of this? You're joining the associations that align with the things that the things that are important to you and why they're important. So let's talk about the one that brings us all together, that connects us all here, NAIFA. What about NAIFA? So how does NAIFA, outside of this wonderful podcast and being associated with how are you leveraging and partnering with NAIFA to really build the Brian Haney tribe?
Yeah, I think there are probably 3 main ways that happens. And again, the theme of mutual value is threaded through all 3. At least I hope it is. I definitely do feel, I'll say this as the precursor, I definitely do feel NAIFA has done a lot more for me than I can ever do back to NAIFA, but I will stick around as long as humanly possible to see what I can do for NAIFA, because what it's done for me is probably not something I can really measure. But I think the first area is frankly in relationships. This is a challenging industry, not unlike a lot of others. And NAIFA, again, became a tribe to me. So I back when I first got going, building an independent financial practice, I had a sales manager that just basically said, look, if you want to be around the best and the brightest and learn from the best and the brightest and see what it looks like to be an excellent financial professional, you must join NAIFA. And so thankfully, one of the things that I am good at is following directions. So I did that. And he was right. He was 100% right. And, I found just friends, built great relationships with professionals that were a lot further along in their journey, but willing to share, a wealth of knowledge about what made them successful and also what to avoid. And just, that's necessary. That was necessary for me. I think the second thing is really on branding myself, my practice. NAIFA does so much to give us practitioners the opportunity to be celebrated, to be considered for awards, and just to become more visible across the landscape of society. So, I've tried to take as much advantage of all of that as I can. And that's, I think, a big thing. It's hard to market yourself and it's hard to stand out. And so why not be a part of an organization that's willing to help you do that and wants to do that, wants to promote you and wants to make sure that you're as successful as humanly possible. And then I think the last piece is, one of my personal mantras always: learn from the best until you become the best. And so, if you want to learn, if you're thirsty to get better as a person, as a professional in the financial industry, then NAIFA is the place for that. Again, LILI, all of the types of things that NAIFA offers, I'm just constantly showing up and learning something new every single time. And that's, I've been in this industry for 18 years and I'm still learning something new all the time. And so, I think those three things have been huge and paramount, and hopefully things that all of us would want to experience.
Isn't that really cool? We get a chance to, I think when we start out in the business, the idea is we learn enough to be dangerous, right? And then we start to slowly but surely understand that the opportunity for continuous learning is a commitment and is very purposeful and mindful of others. Hence why the reason we're able to share this type of information on this type of platform. So you mentioned LILI. So we're not talking about LILI pads, right? We're not talking about a young lady that's named LILI. So what is a lot of people out there are unfamiliar with LILI and what it is, and I want to take two parts of that. So the first part is, what is LILI? And then number two is what has it meant to you? Can you share that? Okay.
Yeah. The why, LILI, not what and the why. Absolutely. Yeah. So the what is, and I think it's sad to kind of say this, but it's probably one of NAIFA's best kept secrets, even though we're not trying to keep it a secret. So It's LILI stands for Leadership and Life Institute. And it's it's called an educational program that NAIFA offers to help all members develop themselves personally and professionally and become better leaders. Again, we all lead in some capacity in our life, whether it's in a small way or in a big way, or we don't have to be a sales manager, we don't have to own or run an agency to be in a position of leadership. So, aspiring to be better at taking on leadership roles, and really leadership all boils down to influence and impact anyway. So being a more impactful human being and a professional, that's kind of what the program's designed to deliver. And so that's the what. The why is, frankly, we should all aspire to be better professionals, better leaders. And so being able to go through a probably one of the best leadership development curriculums I can say that I've experienced, what an opportunity, right? What an opportunity to, take yourself to the next level. And you can ask any person that has graduated and done LILI, every single person says the same thing. I absolutely became a better person and a better practitioner, period. Like without fail, I have not met a person that went through LILI and turned around and said, that was okay. Every single person that I've talked to says it was well worth the time the energy and the resources to do it. So, please, if you're a NAIFA member and you haven't considered this for yourself, absolutely try to figure out how you can do it, because it is more than rocket fuel. It is really, life-changing. And the camaraderie you build with the classmates. The LILI classes are really great, intimate classes, form some great friendships. So it's an overall excellent experience, and it's pretty incredible that NAIFA has it been going on for so long, and yet so many people still haven't had the opportunity to do it.
So Brian, I want to do this a little bit different. We didn't just so you guys know, we didn't prepare Brian. We kind of gave him some topics, but we really didn't. So let's have a little fun with Brian. Brian's very polished, so we're going to see if we can really get down to the breath. So I'm going to ask you about, you've done a lot in just a short period of time. You mentioned you've been in the business for, less than 20 years, right? And so as we start down this path, I'm sure your shelves are starting to get full, right? So one of the things I'd love to do with you is I'm going to take some accomplishments, and what I'm going to do with you is I'd love for you to share with me what it meant to you. Fair?
Sure. Absolutely.
And so I think we can have some fun with that. So number one is Yat Leader of the Year. What did that mean? So what did that really mean to you and for you?
I mean, like a lot of things, and especially the things that NAIFA has done for me, it was a real honor to put on that red jacket, especially considering the people that came before me. People I know, like, trust, look up to, and respect, and think are some of the greatest professionals on planet Earth. So for me, it's still a little bit kind of a pinch me. Am I really, is it really, I'm a part of this amazing crowd. Just an unbelievable experience, and one that I could not be more grateful for, but also one that, again, for me, I think really was just about a passion area. I want to see, we collectively want to see, but I especially want to invest in the next generation of industry professionals. Outside of just the digital disruption that's hit a lot of industries over the last, decade, financial industry has gone through some radical changes at just about every level. And it's becoming harder and harder, I think, for us to bring in that next generation of talent. And I love this industry too much to see us not succeed in doing that. And so, the Yats as a part of the overall fabric of NAIFA has always been an area that I've just been passionate about. And hopefully I can continue to help find those next generation of talented professionals. But it was a remarkable experience to receive it. And I couldn't be more grateful for it.
Awesome.
So I was going to ask Brian, so you mentioned kind of earlier that you had great mentors that brought you in. 18 years in, are you now a mentor to mentees? Do you have mentees that you now are coach to?
I try to be. I've had a handful that have had some mentoring time with me, and I try to be intentional about that. I will say this year I haven't had the bandwidth as I have had in years past, which has been unfortunate. It's been a bit of a crazy year for a lot of reasons, which we don't have time to cover on this show. But that is something that I do continue to want to make sure I get the chance to do, because again, I could rattle off a very long list of people that have had such an impact on my life. And so if I can do just, a fraction of what has been done for me for somebody else, I absolutely look forward to doing that. And I think that that's also something, Suzanne, that I understood coming in how I was raised and playing sports, and just kind of, I guess, the way that I grew up. I kind of had a sense of the need for, mentoring can be, I think, sometimes a foreboding word, or one that doesn't really fit. But I understood the need to be around people that could help me, that are ahead of me, but would be willing to help me come along. And so I intentionally sought that out. I don't know that everybody recognizes how beneficial that can be. So certainly I encourage people to pursue that and pursue.
Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs
leaders
a coach.
out there. Because everybody that wears a red jacket, I promise you, if you reach out to any one of us, we're absolutely there for you, willing to help you out and do whatever we can to plug into your world and make your world better. So.
Brian, I'll tell you, thank you for your commitment to the industry. We paved the way for others to not just to make that road easier, but we paved that way so that they can learn from our mistakes, right? And also learn from their experience. So let's move on to the next one. Diversity Champion of the Year. That one's interesting because when the word diversity comes up, you start to think of segments. And so that one is a unique one. Not a lot of people are named diversity anything other than the things they may eat or drink, right? Maybe that's diverse, but or maybe their stock or bond portfolio, or maybe their insurance. But as it deals with Diversity Champion, talk about that one and why diversity. And I know this because I've spent some time with you. Why diversity is so you're so passionate about it.
Yeah. So I will say this, that is definitely the most meaningful to me of anything that NAIFA has been kind enough to give to me. That was a true gift. So we won't have a 3-hour long show. I'll try to really condense this. Diversity for me is more than just a passion. It's a core of who I am. I had some very, if you see me, know me, and understand where I came from, I'm not a lot of people look at me and say I would have had a life experience that would have maybe propelled me into trying to be somebody that, is about diversity and tries to champion diversity, because I am well aware of all the privileges that I was afforded growing up that so many people don't have. But I had some very early experiences as a young man going into a professional where I just saw things that I guess, you have those paradigm shift moments, or those moments where your eyes are open to things that maybe you just didn't see before in your life. And they were very, very impactful for me. And so I just, made a decision. I can't be somebody that stands idly by and doesn't try to make changes when I know changes need to be made, especially when it comes to who has access, who has opportunity, who's a part of, the process, if you will, and frankly, how do we make more space for people at the table? Because guess what? The table should be big enough for everybody. So I try to live and breathe that. I try to, as I've built a practice, I wanted my practice to be reflective of the diversity of my area. So I'm very fortunate being in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is one of the most diverse cities in the country. So I have there's a lot of opportunities to build across, diversity demographics, because you can form those relationships, you can find them. They're not hard to find, but I've been intentional about that, and definitely try to target underserved communities. I'll say this isn't an unpopular thing to think about, but the history of money in our country is unfortunately a pretty dark one, where financially money's been used to build more barriers than it has built bridges. And I see that. I see the history of that. And I recognize, therefore, today we have the opportunity to reverse that and to use money to build bridges and to be a part of transforming, changing lives, and making sure that, we can leave this planet better than we found it. So I know that's a lot long-winded answer. That award just, it causes me to tear up a lot when I think about it. It was so meaningful, and I'm so grateful for it.
Next one. Let's go to. There's one that's not on my list, but I was there because I stood next to you. What about in 2021? I believe you were named a national luminary I stood next to you and we took a couple pictures together. We'll actually put them on this podcast here. But I thought that was one that's different, right? And it's different because it's not just the insurance industry. It's recognized through the financial industry as a whole. Talk to me a little bit about that one. As a luminary, is to light something up. So and to be a beacon of light, right? And so talk to me about that award and kind of what it meant to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, another great and wonderful experience. And I'm so glad you and I had the chance to share that together. That was an awesome moment. And yeah, I think that was certainly, again, it's a more concentrated kind of through the investment landscape framework. And I think for me, it was probably, again, twofold. A, trying to be a change agent and a thought leader that is actively working to better the industry. So, things that I know you and I and so many people in NAIFA share, we take advantage of the fact that we're giving platforms and we use those platforms to make an impact and to encourage others to be change agents as well. But I think another thing that again, is part of the value of our company, we really do specialize in understanding values-based investing and frankly, how can you align your own values and your money? We are Green America certified as a practice, something that is not easy to do. But we've been really intentional about that. We want people to know why we do what we do, what we stand for, and that we can help you in a variety of ways, personally, professionally, financially. And that is something that's a growing part of society, economy, and the financial industry. More people recognize that one of the biggest ways we vote is with our wallet. And that has a massive impact. So I think both of those things kind of came together in that moment. And again, I think that it's a great part of what we do professionally, that we can have an impact both relationally and then, in even, things as rudimentary as financial alignment and investments. So I think it's powerful.
Awesome. Talk to me a little bit about now, you've been tapped on the shoulder. One, where were you when you found out that, hey, you know what, I'm going to be representing this, the association at a national level? When you got the word that you were going to be a trustee and for 2022 and ongoing years, where were you? And then what would you like to say about the opportunity that it serves for you to be a trustee? So can you touch on those two things?
Yeah. So I was, interestingly enough, at a financial conference called FinCon down in Florida. And it's a conference every year for financial content creators. So bloggers, people that have YouTube channels, podcasters, et cetera. And again, all of, what brings them all together is we all talk about money. So they call it Money Nerds Unite every year is kind of the theme. And it's such a great conference. So that was an interesting place to be to then get the call and find out, again, just another rewarding and humbling moment. I wanted to, the reason why I would even throw my hat in the arena to be able to be a trustee is, again, I want to serve NAIFA with everything that I got. And this is, one of the, additional higher opportunity ways that I can do that. I personally and professionally think that we're at a very pivotal time right now, just in society, in the industry, and in our association. And so I welcome the chance to be a partner with a lot of other leaders to be, a voice to shape the organization, guide it, shepherd it, and make sure we continue to not just survive some challenges, but thrive and find the opportunities in the next way forward. Because I think the NAIFA of 2023 and beyond is likely going to look very different, because let's face it, what we do and how we do it and the way our culture is very different. And so, but we are so uniquely positioned right now to capitalize and catapult ourselves forward. And so it is, again, a tremendous honor to be given this opportunity to serve NAIFA this way. And I hope that I don't disappoint.
Awesome. So Brian, we've got a tradition here, which I'm sure Suzanne did not tell you.
Definitely not. Can't prepare for this.
Okay. So, any kind of thoughts you would like to kind of throw out before we get into what I call the fast money round here, where basically I'm going to pepper you with questions, and the first thing that comes to mind is how you have to answer. So there's no like long thoughts. It's just we go round. Right. It's speed round. Right? 5-6 questions, and boom, whatever is at the top of your head, that's where we go. No explanation needed, and we go from there. But anything specific that you would like to kind of just say to NAIFA or anybody who's listening? What about people? I would like you to make a comment about people thinking about joining NAIFA, because maybe they stumbled on this on Apple or podcasts and they're like, hey, I follow that guy. I didn't know he did this. And, anything that you would like to say of why they should be a part of the association?
Absolutely. So I'm gonna respond to both sets. If you're a NAIFA member, thank you. Thank you for being a member. It's meaningful. It's great to have you as a part of this community. You being here and being engaged, supporting NAIFA is what NAIFA is all about. And if I don't know you or if I haven't met you, please come introduce yourself, come find me. I try to show up at every single event we have, at least when we're coming together. So I try to be accessible, and definitely you can find me on LinkedIn. If you're not a member of NAIFA and you're in the financial industry, I would just say, if you want to get better, you got to consider joining. I cannot underscore or undersell how important my membership experience has been. It's just, I don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. So if you want to find your tribe, you don't feel like you have one, or even if you do, but you want to enhance it with some just amazing colleagues, professionals, people that become friends and family to you, NAIFA is the place. And I can safely tell you, you will continue to, again, grow personally, professionally. You'll find nuggets of wisdom, things that'll help you, get where you're trying to go. It would be a shame not to be a part of what we've got going on, because what we've got going on is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Well, let's roll right into the speed round. How's that?
I'm ready.
All right. So I'm going to give you topics. If you don't answer, I'm just going to go to the next one. We're gonna rock and roll. Fair?
Let's do it.
Cool. All right. So we'll start off pretty easy. So sports. Your favorite sport? I heard that you've played sports. Your favorite sport?
Lacrosse.
Yeah. University in which you attended?
Indiana University. Go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers. All right. So we're moving along. Your favorite NBA or NFL coach?
Oh man. Pass.
Your favorite sports figure?
Favorite sports figure? There's probably a few. Muhammad Ali stands out. Just incredible human being, and obviously an incredible champion.
Give me one of your favorite quotes.
Favorite quotes. There's so many. If you are what you repeatedly do, then excellence is a habit and not an act.
Okay, perfect. If people are watching this, they'll notice there's a bulldog above your shoulder.
That's correct.
Why the bulldog?
So we went all in on a rebrand, and also decided that we were going to go all in on a mascot as well. So much about bulldogs bring out our personality and who we are as professionals, as a company. So it just made a lot of sense. I work with my father, and he has had many English bulldogs. So we have them in the family. We do have a legitimate official mascot. This is the picture, and the logo was actually designed from pictures of our our mascot. His name is Otis. He's a few cans short of a 6-pack, as all good bulldogs are. So he's a ton of fun. And it's served us well. I saw Kevin Mayu most recently at the ASAE annual conference, and he visited our booth. And one of the big things we have at our booth are bulldog stress balls that are very popular, by the way. So we run out faster than I would like us to.
We go ahead, Suzanne.
No.
We look forward to both getting one of those stress bulldogs, one of those, so we can use it on our podcast, to promote you and the work you do, but also to show you our commitment to members. We want to thank you for your service, and not only your service, what you've done up to this point, but your future service.
Bring those bulldogs to the next trustee meeting. That's what you need to do.
We just got the brand new order. They came in last week. I got a whole box full of them. So absolutely, I will bring a whole bag of them.
And we thank you for everything you do. Thank you for being a part of our podcast. We're going to say goodbye. Suzanne, would you like to say anything before I close this out?
I'd just like to say thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brian Haney. Thanks to the Haney Company for being 100% agency. And just reiterate, thank you, Chris. And if you need any more information, we're right there at belong.naifa.org.
Brian, any last words before we go?
I'll just say this. I too am a podcaster. So if any of you listening to this want to check out a nice financial show, do look me up as well. It's the Haney Company Financial Guy. It's on every single podcasting platform you can shake a stick at. And and if I can do anything for you, please reach out and let me know what that is.
Awesome. Thanks both of you, our wonderful, our guests, Brian Haney, Suzanne, our wonderful queen and princess of this podcast here.
Yes.
And as I wrap us up, it's always great to reflect on the work we've done, but we've only just begun to do the things that are important, that actually move the needle. At Advisor today in our podcast, our goal is to uplift, empower, educate, and allow for the future of NAIFA for us to support each other through growth and development. With that being said, thanks all for attending. And Brian said it best, is that we want to create bridges and not barriers. So we appreciate that quote, bridges and not barriers. So be the conduit for that. Thanks, and we'll see you again soon. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us for NAIFA's Advisor Today podcast series. Make sure to subscribe to get future episodes. And if you're interested in coming on the show, let us know.